Time now for the morning rush. We expect to learn why a Bosque Farms officer opened fire on a stolen car suspect. Two suspects are in jail this morning. State police say last night a victim spotted her stolen car and began following it. She tells police the suspects fired shots at her. Police chased the car into Los Lunas. The passenger of the car was arrested. The driver took off on foot. State police say that's when the Bosque Farms police officer fired his weapon during that foot chase. The driver was eventually arrested. No one was injured.
State police are also investigating an officer-involved shooting, this time with one of their own near Alamogordo. Police are reporting this happening sometime before midnight. Officers say the suspects are in custody. There's no word on what happened or if there are any injuries. And of course, we will continue following the latest for you. Connor?
Rain showers right now near and around Silver City, Deming. That'll be possible for the rest of the morning, clearing up from tonight into Saturday, taking the day off before Saturday night. Starting to see some snow showers near Durango, and it looks like a snow day in Durango on Sunday. Snow showers will taper off. Crystal?
To Washington, D.C., where House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is sticking to her word, saying a compromise over border security will not include money for the president's wall. Recently, the president told the New York Times negotiations with Congress are a, quote, waste of time. Trump again saying he plans to go forward without lawmakers if a deal, including the wall, is not made by February 15th.
Congresswoman Xochitl Torres-Small says physical barriers on the border make sense, but only when they are strategically placed. Torres-Small tells the Albuquerque Journal it's important to place barriers according to the terrain. Now, she says she will advocate for more border agents.
Four Mexican nationals waking up in Border Patrol custody this morning, awaiting prosecution. The men are accused of carrying more than $100,000 worth of marijuana across New Mexico's southern border. Agents of the Lawrenceburg station say the men were wearing camouflage outfits and special shoes to mask their footprints. They face criminal, drug, and immigration charges.
It's now up to the Judicial Commission to come up with recommendations for the governor. This after family court judge Deborah Walker is announcing her plans to retire. Walker's announcement comes after a recent DWI arrest. Her retirement confirmed in a statement through her attorney.
A former state senator charged with a misdemeanor expected to be arraigned in court this month. He is accused of leaving the scene of an accident. Chaves County Sheriff's deputies say that the Senator Tim Jennings, former senator that is, crashed his SUV into a ditch in Roswell, then left the scene. Detectives say when they caught up with the former state senator at his home, he smelled of alcohol.
Tuesday is the deadline to cast a ballot in APS's special election, and there's already a strong turnout. At last check, 24% of the ballots sent out have been cast. Experts believe this is a high turnout for a mail-in vote. Now, the district is asking for an increase in property taxes and an approval of bonds for building projects and classroom equipment.
A bill addressing teacher sick leave is now in the hands of the governor. We'll let you know if she signs it today. The new bill is proposing giving teachers 10 sick days without it hurting their yearly evaluations. Currently, teachers are deducted points after using 3 sick days.
New at 6, we will let you know if a bill allowing Tesla to open stores and service centers here in New Mexico advances to the full Senate. It still has to clear at least one more committee. The bill would amend state law to let vehicle manufacturers like Tesla open up shop here in the state. Now, this would only apply to companies who do not have a franchise dealership here in New Mexico.
The first full Senate vote is expected today on Senate Bill 8, the gun control bill aimed at requiring background checks on all private firearm sales. Also today, another vote by the full Senate expected on a bill which would give people the option to pick their gender on their birth certificate without having to prove they've undergone gender transformation surgery. We'll let you know what happens.
The monsoon season is still a few months away, but a project in the arroyos to keep the Rio Grande clean is expected to be finished by that point. Now, officials with AMAFACA, or AMAFCA, are installing a 3-tiered filtration system to sift out trash and sediment before this all gets down to the Rio Grande. Officials will first tackle the Tijeras Arroyo. Connor?
Another mellow day for New Mexico. However, we are looking at the Metro Threat Index increasing once we get to Sunday. But for today, just put out one with that cold start. Bundle up, but get ready for some beautiful temperatures yet again in the afternoon. Crystal?
Annie, a kitten who had a rare heart condition, is recovering after a very successful surgery. She spent 3 days in Fort Collins, Colorado, where vets performed a corrective heart surgery that saved her life. Her story on News 13 garnered so much support that more than $2,000 were raised, enough for post-op visits.
Animal welfare says since so much money was raised for Annie, it's now going to be helping other shelter animals in need. And one of those first recipients is Gina. She's a 2-year-old shepherd mix. Now, she came to the shelter after being hit by a car in October. Her injuries were so extensive that she lost the use of her hind legs. Now, officials are hoping to raise $400 through their new Angel Fund. This would be to get Gina a custom-fitted cart.
City of Albuquerque is helping youth land a job or volunteer work. Tomorrow is the first annual Youth Job and Volunteer Fair. Those who attend will be able to learn about job and volunteer opportunities within the community. That does include with the city. It's happening from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Albuquerque Convention Center.
In about 3 hours, tickets go on sale for a big game at Isotopes Park. The Isotopes will take on the Colorado Rockies during an exhibition game on March 25th. Now, this will mark the first meeting between the two clubs since their affiliation began back in 2015.
Skiers, listen up. This week in Parito Ski Resort is opening the lift that stranded skiers for hours on opening day. The dramatic scene caught on camera when more than 180 people were left with no option but to rappel down the Aspen lift. Officials say it's because of mechanical problems and that it was worked on all summer without issues.
UFC President Dana White says Holly Holmes' fight with Aspen Ladd is off the UFC 235 card. This revealed at a press conference yesterday. The fight was supposed to take place on March 2nd, but someone from Holmes' camp tells us that the fight was scrapped due to contract extension negotiations. But they say a new deal is now in the works. Connor.
Moving over to traffic, things are moving smoothly across I-25 and I-40. Taking a look at the Big I, same thing. Things are moving along just fine.
All right, listen to this story. Prime for profit, Amazon is reporting record-breaking holiday sales and earnings. The e-commerce giant raked in $3 billion in profit during the fourth quarter. It's the second consecutive holiday quarter Amazon beat estimates.
And some good news for the fans of the Hershey's Kiss. This all comes ahead of Valentine's Day. The company says the problem with the broken tips is fixed. Now, this angered holiday bakers last year. CEO Michelle Buck tells CNBC that Hershey's made adjustments to the Kiss manufacturing process to allow for greater consistency.
Oh, good thing we got that issue resolved.
Here's a look at, one more time, our 7-day forecast. We are expecting a storm system on Sunday, but as of right now, just cloud cover for the metro. It's not going to be a sharp enough front to actually
Gears to the 5 facts now. We start with number 5 here. This morning, Annie, a shelter kitten with a rare heart condition, is doing well after a successful surgery. Her story garnered so much attention and donations that animal welfare officials say $1,000 will now help another shelter pet get a cart so she's able to walk again. Officials say Gina was injured after being struck by a car.
And at number 4 this morning, today, the first full Senate vote is expected to be held on Senate Bill 8, the gun control bill aimed at requiring background checks on all private firearm sales. Another vote is expected to be held on Senate Bill 20. That would give people the option to pick their gender on their birth certificate without having to prove that they've gone through gender transformation surgery.
Well, far from the polar vortex, we got some more stellar weather in New Mexico. Hour-by-hour forecast has 50 degrees by noon, 54 degrees by 5 p.m., cloudy in the morning, and some more sun in the afternoon. Active weather coming up for us on Sunday.
At number 2, the process will soon begin to find a replacement for the district court judge who was recently arrested for DWI. Family Court Judge Deborah Walker announced her plans to retire. Now, the move comes after her arrest and following a growing petition from residents calling for her to step down. Now, there's no word on if the petition played any role in that decision. Walker's attorney released a statement in part saying that Judge Walker appreciated the seriousness of the allegations and immediately notified the chief judge of her intent to retire. She served on the bench for nearly 25 years.
On to number 1 now. This morning, we're expecting to learn the identities of the suspects involved in an officer-involved shooting in Bosque Farms. Here's what we know so far. Bosque Farms Police Department say they arrested 2 suspects after a police chase involving a stolen vehicle that came to an end in Los Lunas. The victim told officers she spotted her stolen car and followed it. That's when the suspects opened fire on her. Bosque Farms police found the car. They say they led it into a chase into Los Lunas. That's where the driver took off on foot and the officer fired at least a round.